Hey y'all, I got a call on me this early. Like, come on. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl LB Johnson back with another video. I look a mess. We're back with another video. Let me get into it. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. So I was just thinking about something. I just want to give some of my people who's waiting on their cleaning spouse a little motivation. So my best friend, this is my best friend's story. When she was a little girl, well, probably like a teenager, her pastor prophesied to her husband. She told her what position, like what kind of job he worked, like just kind of like prophesied who this man was gonna be to her. Now you a teenager, you ain't really thinking about love, you ain't thinking about all of that. You like, okay, this lady said my husband gonna be this, that, whatever. And she goes on with her life. You know, she's a teenager. She's still living her teenage life. So she goes on with her life. Fast forward years down the line, she grown, I had kids. She at her house, she's at her place, and she goes to her neighbor house. No, she's in her house, and she go on her porch, which her neighbor standing outside talking to her cousin. Her neighbor talking to her neighbor cousin. So she invites the neighbor cousin in. Her and the neighbor cousin, they start talking. Make a long story short, that's her husband today. So her husband at their wedding, now this may not have stood out to anybody else but me at their wedding, but it stood out to me. So her husband said, since he was a little boy, now mind you, her husband, it's an age gap between them. Her husband's a few years older than her, quite a few years older than her. So he said, since he was a little boy, he been having the same dream, y'all. He said he had been having the same dream since he was a kid. And he said he had never told anybody about this dream. He just kept having it. And he said it was at a church, and it was a woman, but he didn't see the woman's face. And so he said he kept having this dream, but he didn't think nothing of it. He just was like, okay, I'm having this dream. So he ended up so when they got married, they was out to get married. Like, they had different locations that they was gonna get married at, and it kept falling through. Like, the venues that they would get, it kept falling through. They kept being led back to this particular church, and so they ended up having their wedding at the church that they originally was planning to have it in, but they wanted to have it somewhere else. But every time they tried to have it somewhere else, it kept falling through. So the wedding ended up being at this church. And the husband was like, that was his dream. It was the church. And that's why he kept, everything else kept falling through. Because it was originally supposed to be at that church anyway. Because that was the church that he had been dreaming about since he was a kid. And the woman was my best friend. Mind you, this is not her husband's first marriage. But this, if y'all was to see them, like, this marriage is so beautiful. Like, the man, the husband, my best friend look good too. She been doing that. But her husband, like, you could see that man is being, his birthday just passed, and I just told her, I'm like, girl, you can tell that man being loved properly, baby. Like, his face, everything just looks so different from when they first started dating. So I just wanted to give y'all motivation, like, that it does happen. But the difference between me and my best friend, like me, waiting on a keener spouse, and my best friend, she wasn't waiting on her husband. She wasn't stunned, when is he gonna come? I know this lady said I'm getting married. She wasn't so caught up into that. She was living her life. She was doing her thing. And even when she met her husband, it didn't click right away that, oh, that's the man that they prophesied to me. But eventually she realized, oh, it's him. But like, it she was living her life, y'all. She just lived her life. She wasn't so caught up on when my husband gonna come. She was just living her life. And she was just congratulating others while they was living theirs. And she was being the best her that she could be in the midst of just, her season, her single season. She enjoyed her single season. And God blessed her. And when I say he blessed her, y'all, it's beautiful. Their marriage is beautiful. The blessing that God, like her husband, he's a blessing to her, but she's a blessing to him as well. And I'm not saying that because that's my best friend. I'm saying that because that is the God and it's true. Like, they are a blessing to each other. Like, you can tell through the kids, like, they are a blessing, God, they are a blessing. So that's just a little motivation that it do happen. Like, God do know some of our husbands. People keep saying, like, nah, God don't choose your husband. Baby, that my best friend husband was chose for her when she was just a little child. And he was a grown man. Yeah, he was a grown man at the time. And she was a little girl, And not to saying, like, like they didn't meet when he was a grown man. But I'm saying God had already ordained their union back then. Okay? So just know God working something out for you. Don't let the naysayers hold you back. Don't let them tell you that ain't what God said. If you heard God, you heard God right. And that's it. I love y'all. Have a good night.